Hi everyone, welcome to the Codersarts YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be learning about how you can build full stack application with Lovable and Supabase. We'll be exploring the vibe coding culture that is being trending in the market, and we will also learning how to leverage that. So in today's video, we'll be learning a lot of new things. So be with me, I'll be explaining you everything. Now, before getting started, let me set the context of today's video. So in today's video, we'll be learning about what is Lovable, how we can use that low-code tool to generate code for us, how we can create front end with Lovable, what is Supabase, how we can use Supabase to connect with the Lovable, and in general also I will be explaining you what is Supabase and how you can use Supabase to connect your local code. Suppose if you don't want to generate your code with Lovable, you have your own local front end code and you don't have the backend code. Now, how you can use Supabase to connect your local front end code that you have in your system with the Supabase. So I'll be explaining you that thing also. So be with me. Today's video will gonna be a lot more interesting. You'll be learning a lot of new things. I'll be explaining you each and everything in depth, how you can proceed with each every steps. Okay, and also I will not be cutting the video in like sections. So like whenever I get any error, so I will be no, I will not do that part because I want you to know that thing, like if that particular error comes or anything happens in between our code generation or in between correction of our Supabase, then how you can handle that thing. So today's video will be a very raw video in which I will be explaining you all of these things. So yeah, let's get started. Now, before directly jumping onto the Lovable side and showing you the prompting and all of those things, let me give you some overview of what is Lovable. So, Lovable.dev is primarily a no-code platform designed for quickly creating web pages with integrated hosting. It simply means that you can just give it a prompt and it will generate a full code base for you. Now, either if you want to deploy that particular code on your own, you can do that as well. But Lovable also provide you a hosting platform like where you can host your application. And if you want your code to be integrated with your code base, then you can also take that whole code base with your GitHub. Now, it's ideal for marketing campaign, landing pages, or straightforward project require minimal customization. So basically, if you're just building, if you're just getting started with your MVP or you want to build a landing page for some marketing things or to get the customer feedback, then Lovable is the best low-code platform that you can use. Now, uh, this is the Lovable. Now, what is Supabase? Because we will be also using Supabase. So Supabase is basically an open source backend as a service that makes it easy to add a backend to your app. You can think of it like you have a front end application where you are showcasing certain things. Now, if you want to collect some information like username or email ID or these kind of things, so for that you need either you can store all of those things in Google Sheet or different other platforms, but integrating a backend with that particular thing so that you can store all of those things in your database, it's a ideal way. Now, Supabase plays a crucial role in that section. You can think of it like a Firebase alternative where in Firebase we have no SQL method. Like our data is not stored in a structure, but like you can store it in any way. But this is not the case with Supabase. Supabase follows a SQL method. Basically, it uses the power of PostgreSQL and it store all of the things, all of the data in a very structured manner, in a very tabular format. Now it gives you a ready-to-use database, which is a PostgreSQL. It also provides you authentication, real-time data integration, storage, API, and all of those things. Now we'll be using our Supabase account and connect it with the Lovable, and we'll be making a full stack application. Now I hope you have understood what is Supabase, what is Lovable, and you have got a pinch of idea like how we can use these things and like what are these things. Now let's directly jump onto the code base and let's show you how you can create your first Lovable application. This is the interface of the Lovable application. So if you're firstly coming onto the site, you won't be seeing this thing. Let me show you. So firstly, you just have to go lovable.dev and you will press enter. You will reach to this page. You will have to first sign up. Click on sign up. You have two options that you can sign up with Google or sign up with GitHub. I would recommend you to sign up with the GitHub because if you do in that way, you will be able to take the code in your GitHub directly. You don't have to explicitly attach your GitHub to pull the code. So if you have a GitHub account, then that's really good. Attach your GitHub account with Lovable. And if you don't have a GitHub account, then it's better. You can it's very easy process to create a GitHub account. just create one GitHub account, attach your GitHub account. If you don't want to do that, just go ahead with Google only. No issues with that. So attach your either GitHub or Google, and you can just click on sign up. If you do that, you will be redirected to this kind of page. Now here we will be writing our prompt. So for this particular video, I'll be keeping the things in a very straightforward way. So what we were building, like we were thinking of to build a to-do application, like basically a full stack to-do application where whole like CRUD operation will perform. Like we will be able to create the to-do, update it, delete it, and even read that to-do. And all of these to-do will be saved in the database. Like we will be directly fetching it from the database instead of storing these things in the local storage. Okay. So let's get started with that. So firstly, we have to write a proper prompt and tell the Lovable like what we actually want to build. So we'll be writing something like, so we have written this prompt. You can modify it as per your needs. So just to make the things in a very simple way, we have written this prompt like create a simple to-do application where user can write their to-dos. They can also perform CRUD operation, specifically create, read, update, and delete. Store the to-dos in the database instead of local storage. After writing this, if you have a certain design in your mind, then you can attach that particular thing also. But we are open for any design. So we will just press enter, and it will take some time to create a to-do application for us. So let's wait for that. So as you can see, we have got this output in our screen. So we just have to, let's just test it out basically first. So writing Viking phone, just enter some description, one description. Okay, I'll just keep on add. As you can see, it has given a basically a nice overview of things like you can write your task over here. You can get the output over here, and you can with either click on this particular icon, open this particular things in a new tab. Basically, it will provide you a link which you can share it with anyone so that they can also preview this thing. I'm pretty sure that it's particularly it's storing the things in the local storage only. If I just show you uh, new to do, and it's an option, so we can just leave it. Let's just check whether it's storing in the local storage or not. Uh, it's not storing over here. What I am able to think of it is, yeah. So it's not storing in the local storage. It's also not storing in the database. It's just storing in the variable, like in the RAM. And whenever we refresh, it's just remove those things. So, okay. So we explicitly have to mention over there, you have to store the things in the Supabase. But as you can see, it has given the nice uh, like code for this one. So let's just try it again. Need to do new description. See your description. Just click on add in. Okay, we can edit it. You can just press run. Okay, update it. You just click on this. Yes. Yeah. So this is the output that we have got from Lovable. Now the second way, the second method that we have to follow, or the second way we have to do, is to connect the Supabase. So for that, you just have to, you will see over here, we are having two icons. First is manage Supabase. For you, it will not be like manage Supabase. It would be like connect Supabase because I have already connected my Supabase. So it was showing manage Supabase, but if you haven't, then it will show you connect Supabase. The other option that we are getting is GitHub option. So this option is basically for like if you want to sync this particular project with your GitHub, like if you want to take this particular whole code, as I can show you. So this is the whole code that we have got. Like we have some public files. After that, we have some files in the source. We have APIs. We have component hooks, libraries, pages, types, and these kind of things. So these are the code base that we have got for this particular project. Now, if you want to take this particular code in your GitHub and set up locally, then you can just sync this particular code with your GitHub, and you will be get this particular code in your GitHub. Then you can clone it and modify as per your need. But we don't want to do that. We just have to connect it with the Supabase. Now let's jump onto the Supabase section. So basically, this is the Supabase dashboard that I have. But initially, if you are just coming on to the Supabase, you won't be seeing like this. For that, let me just show you for you. Just have to write Supabase and click on the first URL that you are seeing over here, Supabase, the open source Firebase alternative. You'll be seeing this thing. Okay. Now we'll be as you can see, it has over 82,000 stars because it's an open source. So like if you want to contribute to this particular project, then you can do that as well. Now just click on start your project. It will ask you to log in. Go ahead with GitHub. That's a very good way to do that. If you have a GitHub account, then just log in with your continue with GitHub. If you don't, then you can continue with SSSO or continue with your email ID. After that, you will be redirected to this particular page, the page that I'm seeing currently over here. Now, there is a certain limit also for your Supabase. So, on the free account, you can just create 2 projects, and if you and if your project is inactive for almost a week, then your project will automatically get shut down by Supabase because if you have just taken the free account, then it ultimately, if your project is not having the traffic, then it ultimately increases the load on the Supabase server. So they just shut down the project if it's not active for a week. Okay. Now we'll be first creating a project. You can just click on create project. You can just write to do applications or whatever you want to write. Password. Let's give a strong password. We can make it like this. After that, choose the region, whichever region is nearest to you, just choose that one. For me, it's South Asia, Mumbai. You can just click on create new project. And as you can see, our project is being created over here. Now, on the Lovable, you just have to click on uh, connect Supabase. As you can see, it has already detected that I have a one project called to do application over here. But if you just coming for the very first time, you will be seeing an option called connect Supabase. You will just have to click on that. It will ask you a few permissions like reading or writing in your Supabase account. So you will just have to provide those access to the Lovable. And after providing all of those access, you will be able to see this kind of like, because it required those access. It required the access to your Supabase account so that it can modify those things. It can create tables in your Supabase. It can uh, like to make any changes in your Supabase account, it need all of those access. So for that, you just have to allow the permission. Then you will be seeing this particular interface. I will just click on like I want to connect this particular application. So I will just click on connect. I will it's asking for connect this level project to Supabase. Yes, connect. As you can see, one command has been written over here. Please connect my Supabase project to do application. It automatically detected this particular thing that the user want to connect their to do application with this particular code. So it has started running that particular thing. We got a build unsuccessful error. Let's just check it out. Okay. I don't think that will be a big problem. Let's first refresh. Or basically, let's first check whether we have some tables over here or not. Okay, so we don't have any table. So we'll be writing a certain command over here. So we'll be writing uh, my base to do application project, to do application project, create, develop, store to do's instead of us going then in the variable with that it can persist. Okay, let's press enter. Okay, so it has started giving me some SQL commands. So we just have to review this particular thing, like whether whatever the command that they have given, is it right or not. So after reviewing, yeah, it's correct. Just click on apply changes. It will now start modifying or start creating tables in your Supabase dashboard. And it will also modify the code that it has generated so that it can fetch or up the latest to-dos, or even like store, delete, or update the to-dos that we will be creating so that it can sync with the database that we have attached. Let's wait for some time. It's generating the code. So these were the certain things, like you might be wondering like why we are getting these uh, build unsuccessful error or these kind of things. So AI is AI is evolving. Like, okay, so you can't 100% rely on AI for certain things. There might be possibility that you might get some error. You have to look into those things. So you can't 100% rely on AI, but yeah, to perform the task or to do a certain task which can be delegated to AI or which can be done by AI, we can rely for those things. Okay. So we have seen that build unsuccessful error. It's not a big deal. Like, it can be resolved. So we just have to give in, give them a proper prompt. Like, we are getting this particular error. You just have to fix these things. So they will resolve it. Okay. So let's just see. It has generated the new code base. Okay. You can now try updating complete. Okay, it has generated. Now let's just see over here. As you can see, we have got one table over here called to do's. And in that particular table, we have ID, we have title, we have description, completed, created, and updated. Okay, now let's just try this particular thing. I'm pretty much sure that it has synced my code base with the Lovable, sorry, with the Supabase. So if I just write first to do, click on add. As you can see, it's present over here. So earlier when we refreshed the page, our to-dos got disappeared. But now if I just refresh it, I don't think it will be disappeared. Let's just wait. Okay, so it's disappeared. That's an issue. That's an issue. Okay, let's just fix it. We don't see our to-do available over here as well. And our to-do is not also available over here. Uh, let's write one prompt again. Let's just verify. No, we are not seeing our to-do over here. Okay, let's just write this prompt now. Uh, Table is key created in the, but whenever we to do, it's not stored in the won't we store the looking this and also fetch this from here. Okay, so you have to clearly mention in the prompt that what you want to perform, like the more detailed prompt that you will be writing so that it understands clearly. Okay. So we were not able to see our to-dos being stored in the Supabase. As you can see, when I clicked on refresh, I won't see my to-do available over here. Even when I enter my to-do, I clicked on save it available over there. But when I refresh the page, it got disappeared. So you have to understand this thing, and based on that, you have to write a proper prompt so that it can resolve those things. So I could have easily removed this particular part and fixed the things and then showed you. But you have to understand, like, uh, this is the thing that will come whenever we are generating any project with any AI tool that is available in the market, whether it's Lovable or Vio.app or Pulse.app, or any product that is coming to the market. Like, these kind of things will happen. So you just have to be properly mentioned in the prompt that what issue is coming, where you have to modify your code and things like that. Now it has generated the code. Okay. Okay, let's just see. Let's write our first to again. First to do, you can save. And if I just refresh it, or if I just, okay, now it's coming over here. As you can see, wait, let me show you over here as well. As you can see, I have written this first to do over here, and it's appeared over here as well, and it's coming in the Lovable, sorry, in the Supabase as well. So as you can see, based on the proper prompting that we have given to Lovable, it is able to solve this particular issue. Now, even if we just write some to dos over here, let's suppose second to do, second to do, and click on adding. As you can see, to do is added, and if I just refresh, second to do is being created over here as well. Now, same, if I just remove this particular thing, and if I just refresh it, as you can see, it's done. So we were able to successfully connect our Lovable, like our Lovable with the Supabase, but there is an issue. There's a catch over here. Now we were able to easily connect our Supabase with the Lovable, but not most of the people will able to do it. The issue that you might be facing is related to row level security. Let me explain you what that particular means. So basically, in Supabase, we have these tables. So we have a bunch of tables. So let's suppose this is one table, and same is the case. We have another table. Now each table has certain rows. So let me create that. Okay, so we have bunch of rows in the particular table. Okay, so in Supabase, we have these tables. Inside these tables, we have rows. Now each row has a security layer. Okay, so Supabase basically can think of it like enforce the security layer, which basically says who should have the access to, like, who should have the access to view this particular row. Suppose we are storing certain information of X user. Now if we want to restrict the view of this particular row to only X user, then we can also prevent that thing. Like, suppose I am the X user and there is another Y user. Now if I have entered some information in this particular row, so I want this particular row should only be used by X user, not the Y user, because the data in this particular row belongs to me. So it should only be viewed by me, not the another person. So to prevent that particular, like to enforce that particular thing, Supabase introduced the concept of row level security. It basically uses the Postgres security method to implement this particular thing. So we can enforce that thing also. Now, if you are creating an application with Lovable and you are attaching your Supabase account with Lovable, now initially, as you can see, we haven't faced any issue related to row level security, but there might be some cases where some people face the issue of row level security. So how you can tackle that thing? Let's look into that. So basically, this is the our application that we have built in. Now we have this policy. So to overcome or to allow like who can access this particular rows, we can attach policies. We can attach multiple policies in a particular row. But as you can see, we have attached like Lovable has only attached one policy for us. So if we just click on this, as you can see, allow all operation on allow all operation for now. So this particular policy basically says that whosoever wants to perform the CRUD operation on this particular table, allow everyone to uh, add to do or delete or to do or edit anything. So even if I just share this link with you, you will be able to view all my to dos. You would be able to add a to do, update it, delete it. Like you can perform all of the action. But suppose I am building this application as a full stack application, like with proper authentication, with proper uh, authorization, like who should be access of what. Then in that case, I don't want any random person to access of these things. So in that case, I will be attaching a policy which says that only X user uh, should have the access of this particular row because it belongs to the X person. Like Y user should not have the access of this particular row. So in that case, we write policies. So as you can see, this is the policy section where we basically mention like who should be access of what. It might be complicated in the initially, but I will be explaining you in a very detailed manner. Okay. So first is the policy name. Here basically we are saying what should be the policy name. Now second is the table section where it basically fetches for which particular table this policy should be applied for. So it has taken automatically. It's the policy should be applied for to do's table. Now this policy behavior, what does this mean? So currently permissive is auto selected, but there are two ways. So let me explain you this thing. So I have taken an image. So basically it has two options. One is permissive and the second one is restrictive. So you can think of it like in this way. So permissive means access is granted if one policy allows it, and restrictive means access is granted if all policies allowed it. So basically, you can think of it like if you have created multiple policies and all the policies allowed that particular request, then it will be considered as permissive. And if a certain if in a policy a certain condition is written and that particular condition is allowed in all the policies, then it will be considered as restrictive. So in our case, permissive is selected and we have just a single policy. So by default, it's selected to permissive only. Now we have this policy command. So basically, it's saying select means all the all the CRUD operation to be selected. Sorry, select means basically you will be able to view that particular thing. Insert means basically you will be have the permission to insert the data. Update means you will be allowing the updation of the data. Delete means delete, and all means you are allowing all the CRUD operation. So based on your needs, you can just choose anyone. After that, we have this target role. We can choose the role like if that particular user who wants to access this, either it should be authenticated or uh, it should be like it should have the Aeon code or like one should be the role of that particular person. So you can also specify from here. By default, it's selected to all. Now this is the main section where you have to write the logic of who should be access of what. So if we just read this thing, so it's basically saying alter policy allow all operation for now on public table to public using true. So it's basically saying everyone should have the access to view or even perform the all the CRUD operation with check true. So it's basically saying allow all the operation to be performed on this particular table by anyone. Okay. Now, if you want to restrict this particular thing to only authenticated user or any, like, suppose if a particular person is an admin, then only allow that particular person. So you can also written right over here, like if user ID dot like user dot role equals to admin, then only this particular person should have the access to edit this particular thing. So you can write all of those logics over here, and you can just click on the save policy, and this particular policy will be created, and that particular policy will be applied to that particular table where you have created. Now, if you don't want to create any policy, or you don't want to take any headache of these policy kind of thing, then you can also disable this RLS thing. Basically, disable row level security. It will be like uh, you are making your table free to use by anyone. Like you are making it available to the people, which is generally not recommended, that you don't want your application to be like used by anyone. So it's not recommended to disable the RS. Instead of that, you can just create a policy, and in that policy, you just let the person either perform the code operation, or you can restrict some. Okay. So this was the issue that I was discussing. Like you might be able to get this error because when I was creating initially this particular application, I was keeping this issue that row level security was disabled. Like it was not enabled to you. So I was getting this particular issue. I was not able to rectify like what's this particular issue. But after learning about this thing, like what is row level security, why it's being enforced over here, then I got to know that we have like Supabase has a thing called row level security where it protects the rows from external user. And if you want to disable that particular thing, either you can just disable it or you can create a policy. So if you are getting this particular issue, just let me know in the comment section. Even if you just try to fix it in this way that I have explained to you, or even if you're not able to fix it by your own, just let me know in the comment section. I will try to help you out with that particular issue as well. Okay. So as you can see, our application is now ready. We are also able to perform the grid operation. We are able to save our information in the database. We have created the Supabase account. We have connected our Supabase with the Lovable. We are able to store the information of the user in the in the Supabase, and everything is working very fine, very smooth. Now, let's learn how you can connect your Supabase account with the local code that you have in your system. So, suppose if you have your front end application already, like you don't want to give your credentials to your Supabase credential to Lovable. You want to manage all of your things on your own. Then you can do that thing also. You just have to uh, install certain libraries, and within a few steps, you will be able to connect your local code with the Supabase. Okay, so let's see how you can do that. So first thing you have to do is to create a project. Earlier it was created by Supabase, but now in this case we have to do it on our own. So first thing, there was like two steps. So first is you have to have a local code base. So I have in my system. So this is basically a local React TypeScript project that I have created. It has a simple login page and a normal dashboard page where I would be performing certain CRUD operations. Now, after that, you have to have this Supabase account as usual. In that, we will be creating a new project. Let's just write the project name, local code. After that, password. After that, let's select the beacon again. Click on create new project. Okay, we are done. Now we need two things whenever we are working with the Supabase. So if I just show you, so we need two things. First is the project URL and second is the Aeon key. So let me show you how you can get that thing. So first for project URL, you just go to project setting. You can get this project ID. So just copy this one and uh, just paste it over it. So there is a certain URL that you have to follow. So we just paste it over here. So this is the URL that we have to write over here. And instead of this project URL, we will be writing our project URL over here. You just paste it over here, just remove it. And the second thing that is required is the Aeon key. It's a public thing, so you can expose it in the front end. There is a there's not a big deal with this one. So for the Eon key, let me just check. Okay, so you will be get that particular thing over here, like data API. You will be getting your Eon key over here. As you can see, Eon public. Just copy this thing from here and paste it over here. Now we are sorted. Okay. So the second, so we have created a project. We have also got the project URL. We have got the Eon key as well. Now we will be installing a library which is required to work with Supabase. So that particular library is Supabase JS. So you just have to write. I'm using PNPM, so you can use whatever npm uh, package manager you're using. So I'm using PNPM. I add, just paste it over here. So this is called Supabase slash Supabase JS. You just have to paste this thing and press enter, and it will be installed in your project. As you can see, I have already installed this particular library, so it's just said already up to date. After that, you will be creating a credential file, which is called, like, you can just name it anything. It's just that I have written in Supabase client.ts. We will be importing client, import create client from Supabase, Supabase JS. After that, you will be writing two things: Supabase URL and Supabase Eon key. And after that, you will be exporting this particular thing, like export const Supabase create client, and you will be providing two things: project URL and Eon. This is the initial setup that we have to do to work with Supabase. That's it. You don't require anything more. You just have to do this particular thing, and now you can use the Supabase to fetch the data from the Supabase, to update it, read it, and perform all the CRUD operations. Now, let me show you how you can also attach the social logins in your Supabase, because we have attached in our projects. If I just show you, uh, like, I don't have done too much extra thing. It's just that I have created two, three pages. First is the login page, and second is the dashboard page. Apart from that, I haven't made any more changes. So if you have your code base ready, then that's a really great win. So if I just show you, as you can see, this is the dashboard. Over here, we have a sign in option. We have two sign in option. First is the email, and the second is the Google one. As I have mentioned earlier, Supabase also allows you to attach social logins or even like authentication system. So if I just show you over here, you can just check authentication. Uh, Not here. Authentication over here. And as you can see, click on this sign in providers, and it has certain options over here. You can see it has Gmail, phone, uh, SML, Apple, Azure, Bitbucket, Discord. Like, it has a lot of sign-in options over here. Whichever sign-in option that you want to allow in your particular application, you can just put in over here. Like, you can just enable that particular thing. By default, email is enabled. You can also enable Google. You can also enable like Discord, Google, oh sorry, Twitter, or anything. Whatever you want to enable in your platform, you can just go ahead with that. In our case, we'll be using Google. So I can just click on this. It will require two things. First is the client ID, and second is the client secret. If you don't know how you can fetch these particular things, let me know in the comment section. I will also uh, give you an overview like how you can do that thing. So let me take these two things and come back. So I have put in my client ID and client secret over here. I can just uh, click on the save button, and we are done. Okay, so as you can see, my Google is also enabled over here. Same is the case with GitHub, GitLab, Figma, whatever social media login that you want to enable in your application. You just put in over here, enable those things, provide the credentials, and you are done. Okay, so this was the social login, or like the login method that you can enable. Now let's just directly jump onto the code base. So this was our application. As you can see, sign in with Google. Okay, let's test it out. Before that, we haven't written the code. Like I haven't shown you the code base. So this is the login section. This is the handle email, handle Google login, like handle Google Auth, handle email login. And this is the simple form that we have written over here. Don't worry about these things. This is basically the authentication, like only after authorization of certain things, they will be able to view the dashboard part. So this is for that. It's just that we have commented out these things. So it was saying we have imported, like we have created this variable which we haven't used. So don't worry about this. It's a basically a TypeScript error that we are getting over here. So let me show you how you can use that thing. So first we have to import the Supabase that we have created over there. Like as you can see, we have created this variable Supabase over here. Now we have to import that particular variable, like import Supabase from libs Supabase client. Now in the in the email login, after taking the email ID and password, we are first verifying that if the user has given the email ID and password, and if his login is basically true or not. Like if the user has already logged in, or if the user has not provided the name, then we are giving them error. Like it's basically checks that we are performing. After that, this is the main section that we have to worry about, or we have to think of it. So first we are saying const data await. Basically, it's a promise that is being run. Okay. So we are saying Supabase auth sign up. And after that, we are passing email ID and password, as you can see. Now, what will happen whenever user will write their email ID and password, this particular function will be called, this checks will be performed. After that, when this particular code will be run, it will go to the Supabase, it will store this particular user into the database, and then it will send an email to this particular email ID. I will also show you how that particular works, but it will send an email to this particular email ID. And in that particular email ID, the user will get an activation link which they can click and activate their email ID. Okay. After that, we are just checking that what information that we are getting. And if everything's okay, we can just, this is the mock authentication system. Basically, if everything is okay, we can just redirect the dashboard. So this is the email login method that we have written, and this is the Google login method. So basically here we are saying const await supabase.auth.sign in with OAuth, and the provider is Google. It's just that we have to write this particular code and everything will be handled by Supabase. Let me show you both of these things in action. So if I just go over here, I can just, uh, I clicked on Google by default, just save it. Now let me enter my name. Let me enter the email ID. And let me enter the password. And when I will click on this sign up, nothing is happening. It's just that we will be getting some information in the console. As you can see, this is the user that has been created and we'll be getting one email. I will show you what that particular email is. But before that, let me show you what we are getting in the response. So we can see authenticated. This is the email, this is the ID, credential, and all of these things. And let's just check what we get in the email. So this is the message that we have got from the Supabase. So if we just click on this and view it, so you can see confirm your sign up. Follow the link to confirm the user. You can just click on this particular link and we will be authenticators. If I just show you in the Supabase also, text will be available in the, just a second. Okay, it will be available in the user. As you can see, we got this particular user, its ID, email ID, phone number, provider is the email, and rest of the things that are that we are seeing over here. So by this way, you can enable Gmail login and email. So if I just show you also, as you can see, last sign in at waiting for the verification. It was saying it's still waiting for the verification. But if I just click on this particular link, I will be redirected to the login page, and you can see over here, if I just refresh, it's saying Wednesday 7 May 2025, we have verified. Like we have verified, like the user has verified itself on this particular day. So this is the email login process that we have followed. And if I just show you the Google login method, so you can just click on this Google. They will be seeing all of their email ID that are available for them to log in. I will choose uh, any random email ID like this one. After that, I will be logged. Like it didn't ask for my permission because I have used this particular email ID. If I just click on again and I choose any other email ID, suppose this one, it will ask for my permission, like whether you want to allow this particular site to access your main email address and profile picture. I will click on continue and I will be logged in. And even if I just show you what we get in the response for the Google, uh, I guess it's not been predicted over here. It hasn't returned anything, so we didn't get anything in the console. So this is the two ways that we have followed. And even if I just show you, just refresh, as you can see, we are getting two users. One is this one, which has logged in with their and email ID, and the two users which have logged in with their Google. So this is the way where we can follow the authentication method either by Google or either by email ID. So this is the whole authentication process that we have followed. Now, as we have seen how we can implement the authentication system, let's look how we can also store the things in the Supabase database and fetch the things from there. So let's just log in. As you can see, we are now redirected to the dashboard. This is the dashboard section. It's just that it's the same to-do application that we have built in the local system as well. And we will be learning how we can implement the CRUD operation over here. Okay. So for implementing that thing, we again have to create a table in the database. So as you can see, we are having two projects in our system. So we first one is the to-do application that we have implemented for Lovable, and the second one is this, which we have implemented, which we have created basically for our local code base. So let's first create the table. So over here, we just have to write the first name to do. It will contain all the to-dos. After that, let's like this is the section like enable row level security. So it's always recommended to enable the row level security to so that it can be accessed by it should not be accessed by anyone. Okay. So let's keep it like that only. After that, another option was enabled real time like broadcast changing on this table to authorized subscribers. If you want to do that, you can do. I won't recommend it the starting. So yeah, let's now create the column. So this is the section where basically we'll be adding the columns, like whatever information that we'll be adding in the table. So ID and created art is the by default thing. Like basically whichever rows that will be added in the table, it will have the ID. Like it's a unique ID. You can choose. Uh, like it should be an int 1248 or UUID. Let's get it UUID. But UUID is basically a random ID that is being like a random long string that is being given to a particular row. Okay. After that, this is the created at. After that, we'll be writing title. Let's just check what information we have. So it's just that we can add to do. Yeah. So we can just need one of table. It could be a text, basically a string. It cannot be null. Uh, is unique, no, is nullable. Specified the column can assume a null value if no value is provided. Uh, no, there should be some value. After that, I guess we only need title. We aren't storing anything more over here. So we can, one more thing that we have to store over here is completed or not. Uh, is completed. It will be a boolean value. Boolean. Okay. And wait, so is unique give note. So these were the two things. After that, uh, I don't think we have to store anything more. Everything is okay. Or even if you want to attach it with the foreign key, like you have a users table where you are storing all the users. And if you want to attach that particular thing with this one, so you can do that as well. And then you can just click on save and it will start creating a table for you. You can just wait for some time. As you can see, the table has been now created successfully. Now we can use this particular table to store the data in the in this particular table. So let me just show you how you can do that as well. But before that, let me also tell you one more thing. As you can see, we haven't attached any policy yet. Because of this, we won't be able to add data in this particular table. Okay. So let's first face that particular issue. Like it should be giving us some error like row level policies is enabled, so that you like because of that you won't be able to add data. So let's just face that particular issue, and after that you will be also rectifying that. So let's go to our code base. In the dashboard section, this is the dashboard. Okay. So let me explain you this code a bit. Like it might be too complicated for you, but it's a very simple code. So basically, currently we are storing all the to-dos for in the local storage only. So as you can see, load to-dos from local storage or on component mount. So we are storing all of that. It's a function for adding to-do, deleting to-do, toggle, start editing. Like if user wants to edit the things, saving, cancel, edit in these helpings. Okay. Now, so initially fetching for to fetch all the to-dos, we have to write our logic over here. So instead of parsing the to-do from the local storage, it should be fetching it from the database. So for that, we will be importing Supabase. Supabase uh, from doing, but it's not taking that. So it's we got this one. Lips and this. I guess I have Supabase, or I have it in Supabase. Sorry, my fault. So it's Supabase I have in imported. So for the testing purpose, let's just add few to dos over here. So let's click on insert ago. ID, let's keep it everything by default itself. Title will be first to do and it's completed voice. Click on save. As you can see, it has taken by default the ID and the created at. Uh, let's add one more. Let's keep it like that. Second to do, two, and save. Like we are adding this particular thing so that whenever we fetch the code in our local system, like we like fetch the to dos so that we can view it. We don't have to explicitly. We can see something in our front end. Okay, so let's just comment out this thing because this is not required now. We'll be fetching everything from the Supabase. Now, as you can see, we have created a function over here to fetch the to-dos. We are calling that particular function over here. Now we can remove this thing because we are now not fetching the things from the local storage. And as you can see, get to-dos called over here. This particular function is basically saying it's an async function because we are fetching the things from the database. So it's basically saying await Supabase dot from. This is the table name that we have mentioned over there. Select. Star means everything. Like you can either mention whatever details you want, like either you want just the uh, title or like is completed or not. You can just mention it over here. But for us, we need everything. So we have mentioned star over here. Now the order means like it should be in the ascending order or the descending order. Like you can mention the order as well. Now, if we get the error that we are printing that particular error, and if everything is sorted, we are just can just remove this thing. We are we can just write this particular thing like this. So we can just write it on this way. We are doing console.log, or either we can just instead of doing console.log, we can just directly set it to do's. Okay. Now this thing is sorted. If I just show you into the code base, oh, we are not seeing anything over here. But why? Like it should be printing our to do's because we are doing, as you can see over here, to do's dot length equals to 0, then it should show no to do's yet. Otherwise, it should show us something. But we are not seeing anything. What can be the reason? If you are sure, like if you are not able to even think of it, like what can be the issue, like let me tell you what can be the issue. So now, as you can see, as I have mentioned earlier, there's a thing called RLS policy. It's basically row level security. So we, if we haven't add any policy, then it by default restrict the user to access these things. So if I just disable this thing, like as I can show you, disable RLS policy. I am disabling this thing. As you can see, I disabled it. Now, if I just refresh this particular page, it's asking for information. Let's keep like that only. Click on sign up. Now, as you can see, we are getting two variable. Like it is not able to find the name, so let's just do that as well. So it's for editing. This is for input button. We'll have to look map.todos. This is uh not this one. Okay, this is if the editing is enabled, otherwise input is completed. So let's just check what was the name that we have given. Uh, we have given, yeah, we have given is completed, but it's like this. And we have given, uh, we have done the wrong thing. Let's just check what's the issue. Okay, I got the issue. Like there is a difference in the name. So basically it should be like this. So title and is completed instead of title and should be like is completed. As completed, let's just verify. We have copied this. Okay. Now this completed over here. This completed over here. And here also title. I just save it and show it to you. As you can see, we are getting our to-dos over here. For our first to-do, second to-do, and it's coming in the ascending order. Like this was added last, and after that, this to-do was added. So it was coming in that formation also. So we are now able to fetch those particular to-dos. We are getting this to-do because we have disabled this RLS policy, but we should not do this because by disabling this particular RLS, everyone can access these particular things and they can perform the CRUD operation. But to tackle this thing, we can just we will be enabling it. We will be attaching a policy so that only Like you can mention in that particular policy who should be able to access of the things. So, okay, so let's create a policy. So we'll click on create policy. Let's just write the name as manage to do. Everything is same. As you can see, we are having, as I mentioned earlier, we have two options: permissive and restrictive. Permissive is basically if a particular policy is being allowed in the single one, then it will be applied to a single. And restrictive means if all the policies allow that particular thing, then only it will be applied. Okay. So let's keep the permissive only. For our case, as we haven't attached the both like authentication and the table management, so let's keep it for all. We are just managing, like I'm just telling you how you can create the policies. Later on we'll be changing it to more restrictive way. So for the time being, let's just make it all. So we're just saying permissive all for public, okay, and also true over here, true. And then we can just click on save policy, and our policy is being applied over here, as you can see. Now, if in future, if you want to change this policy or like create new policy, attach a new policy to this particular table, then you can do that thing as well in the future. And if we just show you, if I just refresh, it's asking because we are not managing that. As you can see, now we are getting the to-dos even after not disabling that RLS policy. Okay. So this was the way we can get the to-dos. As you can see, uh, this is the way. It's a simple code, like it's a very small minimal code that we have to write to fetch the to-dos. And I will also share you the code how you can update it, delete it, and even perform all the CRUD operations. So this was the get to do. Now let's see few more options. So basically this was adding to do, this was updating, and this is deleting. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, things were very easy with the Supabase. You just have to mention the things. Now with this add to do options, what you will need a title and is completed, because these were the two values that we were storing. So we will say await Supabase from, like mentioning the table, which table you want to access, and insert is the command that we want to run. We want to insert title and complete it. And if we are getting, like we are taking two things, error and data. If everything is okay, then we will be getting an is completed response, like everything is okay. And if there is an any error, then we will be getting this error response. So this is for adding to do. And for updating one, we will be needing the ID for that particular to do. So this is also the same. Await Supabase from to do. This is the table that if you want to access, update what we want to update. Like we want to update the title, we want to update the status of the completion of that. We can mention that. You can mention both title or is completed. And after that, we are mentioning which particular key that we want to access. So we are saying we want to access ID, and this is the ID that we have provided. The same is the case with the update one. So if we are getting any error, then just print the error, and otherwise uh, show us the updated response. And this is the case with delete. Same, we are mentioning the to do. We want to run delete operation on this particular ID. And if you are getting any error, then paste that error. And if everything is okay, just show us the code. Okay, now let me call these particular functions to their respective places so that it performs the actual need. So this is for handle to do, handle delete to do. So for deleting one, it makes already. You can just provide your ID. You can just, okay, so handle delete to do is done. For update to do, we can just follow this particular function. its respective place, and then save edit. So we have to send two things. Uh, so I'm going to start editing to do ID, to do text. Okay. So, and then save edit. So we could just provide what it actually needs. Let's first check that. Be easier. So it's taking ID and is completed. It's taking ID. So ID will be uh, editing to do ID. And we're just thinking that every time it will be false. That every time user is just making it the to do as completed. So keeping that in mind, that this title. Now for adding to do, uh, where's the adding to do? Okay, add to do is over here. Now let's just check what it is taking. It's taking title and is completed. By default is false. Okay, so we'll just so this is the code correction that I was making. This code is being generated by AI, so it was related to that. So yeah, gonna just send the not this one. I'll send the text. I'm keeping it with false. Okay, so now the thing is sorted, I guess. Let's just ship over here as well. Now, if I just add need to do again and click on add to do, it's being added over here. But let's just check in our table as well. As you can see, new to do added over here. We can see as you. Okay. Now, if I just edit this, edit it, and click on save, it's not over here, but let's just check over here. It's not being updated over here as well, which means there's an issue. Let's fix that issue. Let's check it the console. Invalid input syntax for. Okay, so basically, uh, we are getting an error because we haven't. There's an issue. So let's just check that. And I guess it's a issue related to ID and all. So let's just check. Okay, so we were seeing that a particular error, like it was because after I figured it out, like after doing some debugging, I got to know that as you can see in our code base, we are actually not sending the text. We are just sending true or false from here. Okay, we are sending the ID and we are sending either that particular thing is true or false. So that's why we were not seeing anything over there. So if I just show you, as you can see, if I just refresh, it's again asking for login. So as you can see, these were the two false. Okay. Now if I just click on this edit, okay, I put even if I put anything over here, I just click on like, let me show you the first database. So as you can see, it's saying new to do again, it's false, new to do again, and it's false. That's why it's not cut. If I just click on save, nothing has been changed. But in the database, as you can see, it's false over here. But if I just refresh it, it's you can see it's being true. So our update to do request is being working perfectly. It was not an error. It was just that we were not sending the text and it was not being updated over there. So that was an issue. So our get to do is working, update is working, and along with that, and let's also check our add to do. Okay, let's just test that out also. We are adding random text. We are clicking on save. Let's just check in the database. As you can see, a random text is also working. One last step is left, which is deleting one. So let's just delete this one. Let's delete this one and check in our database over here. As you can see, the delete is also working over here. Now, the whole CRUD operation is working perfectly fine. It's just that we have to call the function in a proper way so that they can perform the action. So this was the main code base that we have written, like perform the get, add, update, and delete. So this was it. Like this was the whole thing. It's just that we have to learn how we can call these particular thing, like uh, which table we have to access, which input field, like which so we have different sections in the table. So which particular things we want to access from the database. So we just have to know that particular thing. Apart from that, everything is pretty much simple. Okay. So now I hope you have understood how you can get started with the Supabase in your local system. It's just that you have to first create a file. It can be any file, just that it contain your Supabase URL, your anon key. You can share it. You might be thinking this particular key might be visible to the ultimate client. They can also like mislead this. No, so that's not the case. It was mentioned over there as well. Like it's a public key. It can be shared in the product. There's no issue with this one. It's just that there's a secret key also available over there. You should not reveal that particular key to the normal public, because in that case, your database or your Supabase might be in danger. Okay. So after that, we are creating a create client. We are passing these two things, and then we can start using our Supabase to perform the CRUD operation. Along with this, we also have to think about the policy. Row level security is most important thing. How and who should be accessing to a particular row. We can mention those things. We can specify those particular things in the policy sections. So I hope you have understood what I was able to uh, make you understand. So we have learned about how we can attach the authentication, whether it's a Gmail, whether it's a Google. You can also search for different other options. If you feel any issue is coming for you with regards to authentication, with regards to CRUD operation, let me know in the comment section. I will try to help you out with that one. Okay. So we have learned about authentication. We have learned about CRUD operation. We have learned about RLS security policies. And also we have learned how we can connect Lovable app with the Supabase, so that if you don't want to write your code on your own, then you can use Lovable with Supabase. And if you have the front end code already written in your system, then you can just use Supabase to connect your backend. So that's it. That's all. I was able to. I have to explain to you. So that's it from my side. Now, I hope you have understood what I was trying to make you understand how Lovable is working and different other things. If you have any more questions related to Lovable, Superbase, local code base, connecting these two things, or in general, any technical questions that you have in your mind, you can let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer as many questions as you have. And if you want to build an MVP, build a product, startup, or any technical related query that you have, you can mail us on contact@codersart.com, or either you can visit our site, which is www.codersart.com, and we have our mobile number available also. So you can also contact on that as well. So that's it from my side. See you in the next video.